Pemirsa, kembali di 30 menit. Amerika Serikat dan China telah setuju untuk meredakan ketegangan setelah keduanya terlibat dalam perang dagang. Dua negara dengan perekonomian terbesar di dunia ini sempat saling menaikkan tarif impor, yang tentunya memberi dampak bagi perekonomian global juga Indonesia. Mr. Ambassador, the world, including Indonesia, is concerned about the trade war unfolding between the United States and China. What does the U.S. Expect out of this?
Okay. Let me try and explain what our thinking is on this. We're looking to have a constructive, results-oriented relationship with China. In a number of areas, we believe it's important for China to come back to its market reforms, opening its markets to products, and to stop its interventionism that we have seen in the past decade on this. This means that in addition to having a market for Chinese goods in the United States, that American firms also can exist and prosper in China. We believe ultimately that this will be good not only for the United States, but for all of China's trading partners, and for the world as well.
Certainly the rise of China in many ways creates the context of how U.S. deal with the other countries in the Southeast Asia, but at the same time, how U.S. deal with China creates the context to the region. Now, what would U.S.-Indonesia simply do to have a stronger relationship?
I think the best way to do this is to describe our Indo-Pacific strategy. The basic outlines of the Indo-Pacific strategy first, I think, demonstrate that the United States wants to remain a player in this very important region for the foreseeable future. And that's because our prosperity and our security are intimately linked to the Indo-Pacific region. We welcome the participation of other countries, and we're speaking with them as to how to shape this approach to the Indo-Pacific region. We see three pillars in our Indo-Pacific strategy. The first is an economic pillar, in which we advocate for and hope other nations will join us in the development and the furtherance of free, fair, reciprocal, market-based approaches to trade. This will enable partners, and we are intent on helping our partners to also develop sustainable infrastructure projects and sustainable infrastructure. Then the second pillar is a governance pillar, and that we are working with other nations in the region to develop good governance, transparent governance, governance that responds to the desires of their peoples. It includes an element of helping nations like Indonesia to fight things like corruption. The third pillar is a security pillar, and this pillar aims to develop resilient relationships among nations in the region to preserve peace and security.
Okay, speaking of Indo-Pacific, the notion of Indo-Pacific region has experienced, I would say, a contemporary revival and is experienced and is mentioned frequently. What are the main positions of the parties in the Indo-Pacific region? What are the U.S. views about preserving and strengthening a peaceful and stable Indo-Pacific region?
I don't think I should speak for other nations, so let me just address our views on this. Our belief is that it is very important for our approach to be based on our alliances and our partnerships with nations like Indonesia, and that we need to listen to them, that there should be a rules-based approach to this, that no nation should be victimized or forced to do, coerced to do things that they do not want to do. That no one nation takes action, that we do it in consultation with each other. A key element of this, I might add, is our very, very strong belief in ASEAN centrality. Now, you hear this a lot. So what do we mean by ASEAN centrality? What we mean is that we want to work very closely with ASEAN. We have no intention of supplanting it, for example, but we recognize the very important role that ASEAN plays, particularly in this region. And we accept that, we acknowledge it, we appreciate it, and we want to work with ASEAN as an international organization.
Why does the U.S. need this new geopolitical construct? And why the U.S. is a, correct me if I'm wrong, why the U.S. sees the rise of China as a threat?
I wouldn't characterize it quite like that. I would say that China, in many ways, has increased its influence in many areas, including the economic area, and its influence is being felt in the region and around the world. We hope that China will move in the direction of a rules-based society, a rules-based approach to the region. And we think we would welcome that if they move in that direction.
Okay. Indonesia is urged to equate the concept of Indo-Pacific with influential countries, including the United States, China, Australia, Japan. What's your comment on that?
We're working with all the nations in the Indo-Pacific region to make sure that all interests are accommodated and addressed on this. This is not an attempt to impose something from the outside. This is an attempt to work within, to listen to our partners, to listen to their concerns and address them.
Okay, technology has given a rise to misinformation, and we are all overwhelmed with the rise of fake news or hoax, misleading contents, satirical content, misleading sources. Now, how the U.S. might fix this, the problem of fake news? Has any clear action been taken to eradicate fake news? Perhaps Indonesia can learn from it.
Well, you know, this is a problem that we all have. We're all, regrettably, in this boat together. One of the ways that I see that we can very effectively join together to try and eliminate fake news or reduce the detrimental influence on it is by having a very active free press that is engaged in fact-checking, that we have government and civil societies that work together to cooperate. I've been one of the great parts of my job is that I get to travel around Indonesia a lot. And I have been very encouraged in visiting a number of city governments where they tell me that they're working with different communities within the city so that if fake news arises, that they communicate very quickly together and that they can respond together, not just the government, but civil society as well. And I think this is another key both in fighting fake news, but in a vibrant democratic society, is that you have a very strong and active civil society, non-governmental organizations, like a free press, but others as well. This is also one of the joys about Indonesia today.
Okay. Pemirsa, Indonesia dan Amerika Serikat bertekad untuk memperkuat kerjasama tak hanya di sektor ekonomi, tapi juga keamanan di kawasan Pasifik. 30 menit akan kembali setelah jeda berikut.